Hello, and I hope you have a good afternoon. Um, Hi, Cherry and Aoife and Sonia and June and Ellen and Soile. Okay, so what we are going to do today, and you probably saw other artists doing this, but it's a really fun thing to do. And I have to warn you though that I'm not going, this live will not be very long because I guess it's because of the weather around. I'm not feeling really peachy. And also I'm still adjusting with the new thyroid meds, so I think that might be also a reason. But what we are going to do, we are going to use the extruder to extrude some really thin strings. Hi, Carol. Hi, Kay. Hi, Vero. Hi, Kaizen. Hi, Elaine, Mary, and Joanne. To do, and we'll use what you need for this kind of stuff. You need a texture or a stamp that has a lot of lines, and it's kind of floral. I hope you can hear me while I change the microphone back to the camera one. Hi, Cecile. Oh, it will be okay. I mean, it happens. It's not like it's unusual. Um, so as I said, I've chosen this, and after this is over, I will post the links. I got this from Polyclayplay, and I think there's one in the Amazon influencer store, but you don't have to use exactly this one. You can use a different one, whatever has a lot of lines and is kind of floral. And it doesn't even have to be floral as long as it has a lot of lines. Hi, Becky. Hi, Lena. So, I think I'm going to use souffle for this because it's softer and you can extrude it better. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, but I'm not going to do a lot of them because I don't have a lot of stuff to embroider here. So first, let's try and get a good imprint. When you're looking with when you're working with an embossing folder, always remember that you have an innie and an outie. So what you need on the clay, you will need for the lines to be in, like they are here. So I have it, but I don't think it's a good idea to use it on camera during a live because not everybody has it. And usually when I make a tutorial, I'm trying to adapt it, not to, just show all the awesome stuff I can do. But when I make a tutorial, I'm trying to make it so pretty much everybody can do it. Bonsoir, Basma. Hi, Frontal. So what you are trying to do, you need the lines to be imprinted, indented in the clay. That means that you're going to choose the side that has the lines um, raised, because that way they will leave imprints in the clay. So always when you're trying to do release, you guys know who've been following me for a while that I don't use cornstarch, I don't use water, because I think that both they change the texture of the clay. I use instead Armor Roll, and it's just the simple original Armor Roll. And you always put the repellent on the clay, not on the texture. And why is that? Because if you put it on the texture, it might just pull in a crevice and not go all over the place, while if you use it on the clay, it's going to be evenly on the clay. Now, I have to warn you, it might take me a couple tries because the ones of you who have hands issues know how that is. So let me see. What part do I want to choose? I want exactly this part here, because we are going to make a pendant with this. So I'm going to press it as much as I can. And I have some Fimo scrap. This is just plain scrap. I have some Fimo scrap, and usually Fimo scrap for this kind of stuff is much better because Fimo is a little bit sticky when it's well conditioned, so it makes it easier to embroider. Okay, I think I did it. I did it even too well. I pressed a little too hard. I cut through the clay in some spots. That's what happens when you're used to not doing very good. Okay, it's still good. All the area that I wanted, it's still okay. I just cut through clay here. Okay. So it is a little dark, but I hope you can still see it. See how I have all this nice area here. And for this, I'm going to choose some happy colors. And you kind of want your clay to be not super conditioned. Hi, Anna. Yes, those, but not all are good for that. The Makins ones are good, Helen Rails are good, and the red rubber, the long ones, are good for that, but not all of them are good for that. And by the way, because I had a talk with someone about this, so the clay has some black and ultramarine in it, and because I had with several someones, because they're like, how can you put your clay in those little cellophane? Because I cannot, I'm trying to put them in and they don't go in and all that. Well, the trick is that you get it on the thickest setting and you fold it in two. And when you're using, normally when I'm first using a pouch, before I remove the sealing paper there, if it's like this, it's going to be heavy enough, and all you have to do is to pretty much let it drop. And it drops, you fold, and that helps you never leave the clay in one sheet. Always fold it in two whenever you're storing it, because it's going to be much easier to condition. So I'm going to take a piece of this. So this is canary souffle. And let me run it a couple times through the machine. Actually, I did run that one. And I'm going to practically cut it in two. And I'm going to work with two dies. I'm going to work with this die, the one that's got 5 holes, and then I'm going to work with the die that's got a lot of itty bitty holes. Hi, Lars de Ando. So all I need to do now is to prepare my clay for the extruder. And yeah, I know I could have had these prepared already, most of them, but I'm sorry. As I said, I'm not feeling good and I'm trying to finish editing that Folkoroid thing, which, by the way, I'm so happy with how it comes up. I only need to place this stones on the findings. Actually, the pendant only needs a chain, but the earrings need the ear wires. Hi, Seaward. Oh, that's nice. I mean, it's not nice that you have a sore throat, but it's nice to have you that you can watch finally. So I always get a piece of wax paper to place all my stuff here. And as a piece of advice, when it comes to the extruder, I got asked what do I prefer as extruder. I prefer the Makins. I had the walnut hollow, and it was an absolute disaster on my hands. It was so hard to work. The Makins, honestly, I wouldn't even need the drill thing unless I have a lot of stuff to. My only problem is to open it. Oh, unless I have a lot of stuff to extrude, I just do it by hand just because it's so easy to use. It goes so fast with everything. Okay. Now after each, always clean your die. And as a piece of advice, when you clean your extruder, one place you always need to be careful, but not while you're working with it, after you're done. Hi, Paula. Hi, Young. I don't know what your name is. So what I was saying, there's two areas where you have to be careful to clean. Here. And you can see I'm using an owl, or you can use your needle tool. But on the other area, I'm not going to go right now. I'm going to do that only after I'm done working with it. It's the threads themselves, and they are fairly easy to clean. All you have to do is to start on one, and just as you're going out, it's going to go exactly like when you're screwing the top on, and the same goes for the outside, because as you're going through it, it's going to just follow the thread, and it's going to be easy to clean. And I should remove this from here so I don't flatten the stuff while I'm doing this. So let's do the small threads. I'm going to work probably with 3, at most 4 colors, but we need the yellow. Generally you can do a yellow and a red or a fuchsia, and yeah, I do need the clay inside first. A red or a fuchsia. You need a green and maybe a violet, or you can go white and blue and violet. Yeah, that would work great. But remember that you can completely undo it from here and here, and then it's easy to. I just twist a paper towel and run it through. I spray some alcohol on it and run it through. Oh yeah, the worst, I think that the worst thing that I complain about with the clay gets everywhere is the carpet. I really need to get me a rubber mat from under this table, because I'm afraid that I'm going to have to replace the carpet in here soon, just because I'm so bad about dropping stuff that once a week I have to get on all 4 and start, and I still don't get everything. I'm sure that I still don't get everything, but try at one point to put a UV flashlight on it, and you'll be amazed. It's brighter than dog pee or cat hairball. And yeah, I still didn't get around to wash my carpet because I got a UV flashlight last month, I think end of February, beginning of March. And I have no idea what was. I consider myself a fairly clean person, especially because I have a mild degree of OCD. I mean, not pathologic, but it's there. And I have no idea what was in my mind to turn it on and go around the house with it. And I was absolutely horrified because, with a sick dog, as with whispers, a liver cancer, his main symptom whenever something doesn't agree with him is to throw up. And then with the cats, not so much with Seamus as with Connor, because he's long-haired, he's got hair balls. And even if I thought that I cleaned really good, because every time that they might have an accident like this, I cleaned and I spray some 409 and then I spray some hydrogen peroxide, and I think I do a good job. Yeah, I didn't think that anymore after I put that UV flashlight on my carpet. But anyway, the polymer clay is brighter. So when I'm not sure, if it doesn't matter what color it is, it's going to just show white under UV light. So when I want to make sure that I don't miss at least the bigger parts, I just flash the UV flashlight on the carpet to get all the little pieces of clay. Yeah, especially when it comes to arranging by color. That's a big one. Okay. Now, do we want the fuchsia? No, the cherry. No, let's do the. I think this is turnip. I think. I'm not sure. I would have to check this one. I also have Mai Tai and So 80, but let's make it more colorful. Yeah, see, I've seen, but they're a little bit they're a little bit expensive. They're like $50. But I said that, I don't know, maybe in summer I'll be able to I'm getting too much, but I'm not gonna mess up the extruder just for this. There are these rubber mats that are indoors, outdoors, and they're like 3 foot by 5, and I think that would be perfect for this area. Again, let's. Hi, Glenda. And yeah, and the worst thing with me is with Connor, because initially this door has the door to this room has a cat door in it, because they have the bad habit of getting into rooms, and when I was still going out and going to venues and stuff, I didn't want to have the cat stuck in a room. So because they are two big boys, they kind of messed up the flap. So it's just the cat door there. And it's very hard to, with that cat door there, make them not be able to come in this room. I even tried to put packing tape over that opening, but after I had to chase Connor for half an hour throughout the house because he got packing tape on his fur and he got freaked out. Yeah, so he loves polymer clay, and he would want to get on the table, and sometimes he plays with whatever bits and pieces he finds. So it's always kind of a mess under this table. Not to talk about the fact of all the clay that drops when it's an older clay and you try to condition it, and you know, you have all those crumbles that might or might not fall on the table. So yeah, working with clay, it's always at least, you know, it doesn't stink. I remember when I was doing oil painting, it was, I always had, even when I was home, my mom would complain about the stink because oil paints stink. That's the, I mean, that smell of, I mean, nowadays they are not that bad, but back in the day, and I'm talking late 70s, early 80s, I still would use turpentine to clean our paintbrushes and all that, and that stinks. And I still remember I was uh, clearing my own linseed oil. I would boil it and then get it through cheesecloth and then get it through silk and to get it nice and clear. It was hard to find good, especially the former, I mean, at the time it was not former, in the communist bloc. It was kind of hard to find something that was good quality to make art. Okay, now let's use the other one. This stick. Oh no, I cannot put plastic tarp or because there is a plastic tarp under the cat's litter box, and then when they were little, I taught them that plastic is good to pee on. So you can imagine that they would come and pee on it. So it's not a good idea to put plastic under my chair. It was one of their conditionings to be housebroken and to find the litter box. Okay, hi Robbie. Sorry I didn't. Sometimes I need to go back and. Yeah, and they like, my guys like Walmart bags. They hide in them and they shred them. Yesterday when I had the live, I'm gonna tell on Connor. Uh, you know, I get all of you get all kinds of advertising in the mail, you know, and with the local pizza places and coupons and all that. And uh, I had gotten them in a little stack because it was for like 2 weeks worth. I was getting, you know, all my mail sorted. But then I had to start the live, so I just put them not on the floor, but I have a little baker's rack in the kitchen and it was on the lower shelf. Well, Connor played sleigh with them because they were shiny. So he pulled them down and then he would go in the living room and take, you know, get speed. And then he would jump on one of them and slide on the tile in the kitchen all the way to the laundry room. And then he would go on the end of the laundry room and get speed and then slide all the way back. So when I was done with the live yesterday, I walked in a kitchen full of all kinds of advertising flyers and stuff. Yeah, he was busy. He entertains himself. Seamus is chubbier and more lazy. He sleeps more, but Connor's always. When he gets into kitty frenzy, he starts climbing the walls and the door frames. I'm not exaggerating. He's actually climbing up them. And I can see him. Sometimes he would I can see him fixated on a painting on the wall. I'm like, no. He looks at me, are you sure? And he puts his ears back. No, that's not for you. But I need to be careful because otherwise he will jump and try to get to whatever he sees on the wall. He is a little crazy kitty. That's why I call it kitty frenzy. Okay, so let me in this, because I'm gonna put these two colors first and then we'll talk about the other ones. And the best thing to use with this, if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to look at, I think the video is called 3 Tips, in which I showed how to make a needle tool out of a regular sewing needle, which is not very hard. You know, you just need a big needle and then you put wire through the needle ear because you don't want the clay to slide out. And then you just make a little thing to make your own needle tool. And that's the best thing to use for this kind of stuff. Let me try and find, because I worked with it not long ago. And it's somewhere here on this table. I might use the owl instead. I had another thing. Hold on a second. Because I had another thing that June sent me. I have no idea where I put it. Oh, there you go. You can use an etch and pearl. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working with it. And I'm going to actually place it on a mirror. One of these mirror tiles that are so awesome to work on them. Right, well, yeah, they have this habit of parkouring on walls. Okay, and as I won't need all of it. If I make just a pendant, it won't have to be this big. Of course, if you have a longer texture, and those long rubber mats, red rubber mats are great for that because they are long and you can even use it for a bracelet. But as I said, this will be in 2 parts because I want to show you a second thing with it. And in the meantime, I should be able to post a tutorial on a much easier thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the lines here. So I'm going to grab a wider let me actually try and see if I can do it like this if you cannot see better. Let me check the focus part. Is it better like this or not? No, it's not. I think like this is better. Yeah, it's better. I can see better here. So, you know what? This is not going to work here. I need the thinner one. So all that you do is to follow these lines. And remember I told you, when you do the texture, you choose the one that will have the lines raised so that it will leave recesses in your clay. And until you get your first in place, it takes a while, but after that it goes much faster. Now I cannot see the chat, so I'll check after I take a small break. And on this part, I'm going to use the... It's almost like a soutache, but a little bit more time consuming, but it's all worth it, trust me. But that's why I said if you need something with a lot of lines, otherwise it's going to be a pain. Because the lines kind of keep the thread in. Of course, you can use whatever design you want, and as a hint, you can draw your design on wax paper or parchment paper and then transfer it on white polymer clay if you want to simply paint. All you have to do here is to simply follow the lines in the... And you don't have to follow all of them. You know, you can create your own design, whatever you're more comfortable with. But if you do this kind of stuff, like with this specific texture that I chose and with happy colors, it's going to look very rustic, a little bit in the South American style, because you know how generally South American art has all those beautiful, bright, happy colors. I still remember when I went to Mexico, because I visited Mexico about a year before I came to the States. I think I said the story before. I had, at the time, I was the general manager of a big importer in Romania, a company importing fertilizers, pesticides, and digital equipment for agriculture, for measuring soil and grain and all that. And I had not only, you know, like a monthly salary, but I also would get a percentage of the sales. And in 98, the summer was over. I had made quite a bit of a bonus because I had ended the trimester really nice. So I was always fascinated by ancient civilizations. And one of my dreams was to visit either the pyramids in Egypt or the pyramids in Mexico. And I wasn't very sure where to go, but then if you remember, there was a terrorist attack on the streets of Cairo. And that was it. I was like, okay, Mexico it is. And I can tell you that was my longest flight ever. It was almost 14 hours. But while I was visiting Mexico, and yes, I did see the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon and Teotihuacan, and then I didn't go to Yucatan, but I saw pretty much all the other ones. And I still remember when going to Tenochtitlan from Mexico City. That was one of them. The slopes of the mountains. Of course, there were houses, but it looked almost like Sugarcraft village, because the houses had these absolutely candy colors, like pinks and bright blues and all that. And then I still remember in the oh, what's the name of that? There are canals in Mexico City, and you can hire. There are these boats that have like a canopy and a big table, long table, and you can order dinner and hire mariachi and just go sailing on the canals in these boats. And there was this altar of the Virgin Mary, because most Mexicans are Catholic, and there's these beautiful cathedrals. Oh my God, they are absolutely fabulous, and they have the Virgin of Guadalupe, the old cathedral, and the new cathedral, fabulous. But anyway, there was an altar of the Virgin Mary at one of the entrances of these canals, and it made was an old tree, the stump of an old tree. But when I say stump, you have to imagine that it was something that was like 20 feet or 25 feet tall and about, I don't know, 15 feet wide. And the whole altar thing was scooped inside the that tree stump. And then on the outside, it was covered in bougainvillea and clematis vines and some other tropical flowers that I've never seen before that. And they were gorgeous. But it was all, like a mound of flowers, and you would go in and you would pray to the Virgin Mary. It was gorgeous. And then they have there are a lot of beautiful stuff to see there. They have what all cities have, like an art center. And that art center, I swear to you, it's like uh it's all in all these beautiful bright colors. Again, something in between candy colors and earth colors. I don't know how to explain. And I remember that at the time there was this guy exhibiting outdoors, because it's like a little, imagine a French village, ancient European village, but with South American colors, Central American colors, and with little trees in the middle of the street and benches around the trees. And there was this this artist who he was making these wonderful glass eyes, and he was putting them on pieces of driftwood, and he was making those pieces of driftwood looking like uh, old wise wizards or sages or old wise men. It was gorgeous. So yeah, that's why I said if you choose the colors of to get back where I started from, if you choose the souffle bright colors, you'll get that feeling of uh, Central and South American art. And that's what I love about souffle, that it has those very natural earthen colors, color palette. I wish it wasn't so soft. I do cane sometimes with souffle, but only when I'm looking for a certain effect. Okay, let me put on my eyeglasses, and catch up with the chat. Okay. I'm catching up. But yeah, and as I said, it takes a while to do it, but it's all worth it. It's not as easy because, like, when you make a cane, you work a little bit on the cane, but afterwards you'll use that cane for many, 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 many pieces. And that's not the case with, okay, I really need my, where's my, not find my needle tool. It's really irritating. Because with the needle you can cut. This way I have to keep switching. Because I don't dare to use the X-Acto for placing the thread. As you can drop cuts on the thread. But when you work only with the needle tool, you don't have to worry about that. Just be aware of the fact that if you pull on the thread too much, it's going to stretch and get smaller, so that's not a good thing. A thing that I noticed, and you saw how I moved from one to the other, a thing that I noticed, if you get bored with doing this, simply start working on another area. Because it's enough change to keep your mind occupied and still not wanting to stop. Yeah, I kind of messed this up a little bit. It's gonna be fine. And that's why it's a good thing to have a clay that would be a little sticky, because especially if you have warmer hands, the thread will have the tendency to stick to your fingers and lift. So if the base is a little stickier, that makes things much easier to use. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to make a little bubble here. And then look what I'm going to do. I'm going to first remove this thing that I don't know how I managed to cut off. And here another nice thing that you can do, and I fully intend to do a tutorial on this, is you can do actually rainbow strings and use them especially to fill up the centers of the flowers and even to make petals. Because as I said, you don't have to follow exactly the design on the texture. And let's do a little bit of coloring here. But then I'm gonna get some blue to work with it. And see, it's, of course, if I would do this in a tutorial, you'll see it working much faster because I would, I would speed up the video. But you can get the whole idea of how this works. And why I want to make two parts, because, and I will show you the whole deal. Do you remember the clay inlay in clay, the what I call the reverse satin slice? When you do an imprint in the clay using a stamp or a texture, then you bake it, then you get clay of another color, and you use some liquid, translucent liquid clay to soften it up, and then you practically fill up all those recesses left by the stamp or texture. There we go. So let me grab some blue and catch up on the, oh, and I need to go take my pill. Okay. It happens. But you know, to be very honest, I like to do things that require a lot of patience, and because I meditate, you know, and I think of all kinds of things that are beautiful, or I would put up some nature sounds music, and it's just so relaxing. And again, but then I'm weird. For me, for example, it's very relaxing to when you have something that's very old, vintagey, antique stuff. I love to clean those things to make them nice and shiny. As I said, I'm weird. Hold on a second, I need to grab my bill. But then I'm a gardener, and all gardeners are very, very patient people. Because you need a lot of patience to grow a garden. Okay, let me see what I missed. It is very calming. Yes, you can. No, you can use thinner snakes, but I can. Let me recommend you. Let me grab those textures and recommend you others that work. Now these was one of my sponsors who got me first I think it's like a set of 18, and then slowly I got more of them because they're only like they are under $5 a piece, and they are great for bracelets, and these go through the pasta machine. But in some of them, for example, you can use this to do this kind of stuff, and it would work great, especially if you do that clay inlay. Then not this one, not this one, but there's a couple with flowers. This one works great because see, it's going to leave. If your eyesight is not as good and your finger are not very precise, this would be perfect, because you see this is much larger, the imprint, and you can use that, the larger one. I have them in the Amazon influencer store, and Trish has quite a bunch of them in Polyclayplay. This one is too small. You can try with this one with geometric figures. You see, it's all lines. Then this one works great as well. And on this one especially, you can make the embroidery and then you can flatten the whole thing. This one is especially awesome because I know I did stuff like that. This one works also for embroidery. This is more of a ancient cave painting stuff, but you can do stuff with it. Honestly, this one I prefer to do just the clay inlay, and that's pretty much it. But all of them work great. I just chose to do the wreath because it's a little bit finer. And you can see better all the various combinations you can do. Let me actually try and find with Polyclayplay. Give me just a minute. I forgot how they are called. Next. I'm trying to remember how they are called. It's not Do Crafts. Oh, molding mats by Clear Snap. Okay, this is the category, and you can find quite a bit of them here. This is Polyclayplay. Night Cecile. And then let me get you my Amazon influencer store, because I have quite a bit of them in there. And by the way, I put a little bit more of the sanding wand. I found another one. I noticed that the one that I got uh, had a price hike from $24.99. It went to 28 something. But I found another one. It's black, but still looks fine, you know, and it's like 26 bucks. Okay, on this one you'll have to scroll a little bit. Okay, what the heck did you do? Okay, so this is from the influencer store. Yeah, I have the makings. Actually, one of my sponsors sent me her old makings because she got one of the Lucy Clay tools when they had the Thanksgiving sale. She got that extruder. And before you ask anything, no, I didn't buy anything from Lucy Tools, and I never will, because in my opinion, it's price gouging. But that's just me, you know. And it's not justifiable, for me at least. If there's somebody who makes commercially polymer clay stuff, then yeah, it's justifiable. Otherwise, I don't see the reason why to spend so much money. Okay, so I'm going to do just the thin ones this time. Let me grab another piece of wax. And yeah, and before I post the review, the comparison between the Atlas and the Makins pasta machines, I can tell you that I was impressed with the Makins, especially by the fact that it's a 180, not a 150. But it does a pretty good job. You know, the sheets come out nice and all that. My problem with the Makins is the rollers. They feel like they are made of they are covered with some kind of black rubber or something, and they get dirty so bad. At this point, I actually am using the Atlas for white and translucent and light colored clays, and the Makins for the darker ones, because if I condition red or ultramarine in the Makins machine, I need to clean it for half an hour. Excuse me. Those rollers get so badly stained. I don't know what they use, but it's definitely not something that, it's just the fact that it's got a motor. Okay. I'm just gonna clean it real quick because I still need to use the green in it. Now, let's do some blue here too. Let me get this back to where it was. Okay, and let's use some blue. I'm really happy that I didn't have to reschedule or anything the live, because as of yesterday we were still supposed to have some severe weather around noonish. It was supposed to come after 1 o'clock actually, but okay, I did the boopsie. But apparently everything moved southeast of here, so it's not that big of a deal anymore. Okay, I can tell you that the robin's egg is way softer than the other ones. And that makes it more sticky to the hands. But yeah, as you can see, this is kind of a combination of soutache and clay embroidery. Because this is exactly how you would do actual embroidery for the ones of you who know how to embroider. Brings me back to the day. Yeah, when I was going through elementary and junior high, we actually had the girls had, you know, like embroidery and sewing and how to make preserves and all kinds of stuff. And the boys had woodworking and soldering and electrical and stuff. Yeah, we are getting prepared for real life, which, to be honest, I think that it was a really awesome thing. And it made kids as young as 10 be able to take care of themselves. But yeah, and I was embroidering a lot, but then I had my maternal grandma was a great crocheter and embroiderer. I think I said before she had in her bedroom she had this huge house. It was almost like a mansion. It has a tower. It had a tower on one side, um, and she had these huge, tall French windows, and then a sitting area in her bedroom. I think her bedroom was as big as my house is now, and she had the curtains on the windows, then throws on the big recliners in the sitting areas, then all the tablecloths and a lot of doilies, everything was in macrame. And she actually made me a macrame dress that had a little jacket on top. And she had, she worked it with a macrame thread doubled with a gold silk thread. That dress was gorgeous. I don't even know where it is. I didn't bring it with me to the States when I moved here, but it was beautiful. And then she made one for my mom, that one with doubled with bronzish silk. It was a little bit darker, but still it had almost like a mica shift. I don't know how to explain it, but it was making all kinds of waves of light whenever you would move in it. Okay, I really thinned out this one. But see, when it's done, it looks fabulous. And it does look like an embroidery pretty much. So yeah, it takes a while to do it, but it's all worth it. I just wish I could see better. But then, hey. And yes, I explained Saturday. This is the reason why I'm a little bit slower in coming up with the tutorials, because I'm working on several things at the same time. Just because I want to be prepared and have some stuff scheduled for publishing, because I expect that probably at least a week I won't be able to do much, and it will take a little bit for my eyes to adjust. I know I'm gonna have to get new eyeglasses. Okay, let me catch up with the chat and rest my eyes. Yeah. No, I need to look for it. Ellen, thank you for telling me. Because I plan on going to Dollar Tree tomorrow. My best friend couldn't take me out for grocery shopping yesterday, because of the weather, so we are going Monday. Thank you, Debbie. And it was fun, honestly. I still remember, I remembered how to make quince jelly. Quinces are not very known in the US, by what I noticed, and the ones that grow here are very puny. The European quinces are bigger than grapefruits, and they are very tasty, but they are very dryish. They're not very good to eat by themselves. They kind of make you choke because they are so dry. But they make a beautiful, they have a lot of pectin, so they make a beautiful jelly. It's almost like if it were, the modern jelly with gelatin in it, just because of so much pectin it contains and the seeds. And down to this day, I can still make a mean quince jelly that looks perfectly transparent. But then also, I always had a cooking bug from my grandpa. Yeah, this blue is very soft, very squishy, and gets. I think this will be the last thing that I'm gonna be using it for. It's a pain to work with. I'm going to just fill this up with yellow, because it's easy to use. So as you can see, especially when you're filling something, it's very soutache-like. And as I said, the time-consuming part is all worth it. One more, and then I'll fill this up. But yeah, and as I started talking about the clay inlay, if you make this with a little bit thicker, and not this specific one, but the other ones that I showed you in the red rubber mats textures that you can make with thicker line. After you flatten them nicely and you bake them and all that, actually get some black clay, for example. You can use white as well, especially for something like with these colors, it would work beautifully. And then fill all the little gaps between the threads and bake, of course, nicely burnish and scoop up, like I showed you in the tutorial with the clay inlay, and then sand, and it's going to look absolutely fabulous. It's also the position that starts hurting me a little. And I know that last year we had a live with embroidery, and I showed you a completely different thing to do, also with the extruded clay, but it was differently. I mean, not completely different. It still had some similar points because you can only do so much with thread. So next time I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to bake it, and then I'm going to do that clay inlay and show you how to make this even twice more awesome than it is. And the way that I'm going to do it is, as I don't want to keep you here for hours watching me moving a thread around, because by now you got the whole idea. So what I'm going to do right here, so I use I think this is the turnip. I have to check. Hi, James. Hi, Donna. Hi, Leah. So what I'm going to use, let me try and show you on the leaf, that's here. Okay, see the leaf here. On the leaf here, I'm going to use probably sea glass, not to put a too strong of a green, you know, to take out the stuff from here. And then I'm going to do probably either the Mai Tai or the So 80s. I mean, a more subdued pink than this fuchsia type thing here. Also in combinations with probably yellow as well. And then I'm going to cut a pendant and bake it. And then I'll have two pendants done. And then I'll show you how to fill one of them, and will go in the oven. And the other one will be already done, and I'll show you how to sand it to get, thank you, James, to get all the effects that will make them look awesome. And then the next time we'll use the time after that, we'll use one of those red ones, and I'll show you how to do the clay inlay. And again, I'll have one already baked. Excuse me. I'll have one already baked and one prepared for baking, and show you how to fill the whole thing up. And then while that one is baking, the other one will be ready for me to show you how to sand it. Okay. Thank you so much. It's been over an hour that I've been up, and I'm starting to hurt, especially if I'm in the same position. But I think I explained pretty good how to do these. And before going, let me just show you, I'm very proud of my full choroid opal, if you didn't see them yesterday. Because I'm almost done with let me turn this back. I'm almost done with the editing as well. But yeah, it's a pendant and 2 pairs of earrings. Choroid boulder opal. See, I'm so happy with them. They came up just beautiful. So these are for the sponsors for now, but then I will put a different tutorial with a different look that will be also for boulder opal as a public free tutorial. And I try to make them look exactly like if they were made out of, you know, that's why I didn't make them too big. This one would be super big. I mean, even these are super big because those opals are super expensive. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. I think they are very fancy. And a full matrix. So yeah, this should be, as I said, I'm working to release them for. So this is what I have. I'm going to rest a little bit and then I'll go in between finishing this and working on editing, finishing editing this one. So yeah, they can be, I got a lot of stuff to work on. Still have, as I said, I have to come to finish editing these that are also, hold on, that are also for the sponsors, and then a lot of stuff for YouTube. These are also, and these ones I just need to finish because we had these in a regular live, sponsor live. And then these I need to put the findings on. This is for the public YouTube with the leopard skin effect. These, they are earrings and pendant. So yes, I have actually, there is I did post a fire opal already. Let me give you the link. Hold on. And it's a tutorial that shows you how to do the milky, how to do the boulder, and how to do the Mexican. And this is a different one. Give me just a second. There you go. Here. You can check on that one. Thank you. Oh yeah, Robbie, did you see? Did you watch that one? Okay, I guess we are going to call it a day for the live today, and I'll see you next Sunday when we'll finish doing this, and I'll show you a few more things with it. Yeah, you really need that ice resin, and it's so much cheaper than getting the Lumiere's thing. The ice resin is the best to imitate the opals. And you can use Cernit, you don't have to use Pardo. With Premo, it won't show up that nice, but you can also use Cernit translucent if you don't have Pardo. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next Sunday. Have a wonderful what's left of the weekend. Bye, and hugs you all.